Hello, gals and pals. It's us again. It's Cocktail Hour's 105th episode. I'm Andy.
And I'm Rev.
And with us is, you wanted her. We got her. Fletcher DeLancey. Say hello.
I held back this time and let you do the whole introduction.
Hello,
For the
Fletcher.
first time.
Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Fletcher waited till the last minute, so my heart rate is still a little high.
I did not wait until the last minute. I started 10 minutes beforehand.
To me, that's the last minute. I start freaking out. Like, oh my God.
I tried to get you to start much earlier than that. Anyway.
You did. You did.
All right, so let's talk about what we're all drinking.
I'll go first since I want to go first because I'm boring.
Okay,
you are boring.
I'm boring. Right. So Fletcher said she was going to drink tea, and I jumped on the bandwagon, and I'm got my cocktail hour mug. So I'm having some green tea with it has some white tea mixed in to smooth out the bitterness. And now I'm warm and toasty.
Does that make it yellow tea?
No, I guess that would be light green.
Okay. Well, I had plans to drink tea, but I have already had 2 pots of tea today, and I didn't want to be doing this while I was talking to you, so I thought it would be the better part of valor to slow down my liquid intake. So I'm going small today, but a little shot of not Scotch this time, but Irish whiskey.
Nice.
And it's not always about the size.
No, it's not. Sometimes smaller is better.
And I'm just drinking unexciting cream soda. Here you go.
That's it?
Yeah.
So, wait, I'm the only one imbibing alcohol tonight?
You are.
I feel like I've been tricked somehow.
I feel bad. I feel like I should run downstairs and make a drink.
Is this not the cocktail hour?
I know. I blame it on you. I was gonna have gin and tonic, but
yeah, I was too. Actually. But I haven't eaten since like 9:30 this morning, so I was really worried if I started sipping, I'd be saying all kinds of
Oh yeah, and you're already pissed. So so I have a feeling that this episode is gonna be just. Fletcher's going to be bruised and beaten by the time this show's over.
All right. Well, I'm expecting it. So
I like it though. You never know.
This is what I'm going to say to everybody who wants to bitch and complain about the massive cliffhanger at the end of this book. Is that I've been waiting for like 4 months so far. 5 months? Is that what it is? I read the book in June. Is that right?
3.5 months.
It feels like forever. So everybody who's going to complain about having to wait for a few weeks, I don't feel bad for you.
There's no sympathy here.
You're the first person that tortures people. Oh, guess what I have? And you're like, oh my God.
The torture should start any day, actually.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, I bet that's none of you, but you all know, Fletcher's joined us because her second book in the Alsea series is out, or purchased. I think it came out yesterday, right?
Thursday.
What the hell's today? Oh, Saturday. It's Without a Front, Producer's Challenge. I had to look it up again.
I had to look it up. Oh, God.
I had no memory. It's pitiful. Anyway, so at least I got it right. The Chronicles of Alsea, Book 2.
Exactly.
Get excited. I got it all right.
So before we do that, I do
we have housekeeping, yes. But I just want to see why she was here, except, just to be Fletcher, which is, reason enough. But
Fletcher she can just show up whenever she wants, really. Break in the middle of somebody else's show. Oh, excuse me. I'm Fletcher DeLancey, and I've decided I would like to stop by Cocktail Hour today.
Okay, I'm taking that as an invitation.
Could you imagine some poor unsuspecting author like, what the hell? Comedy show? What the hell is going on? right, so we do have some housekeeping. I guess we got some winners to announce, right?
We have a winner to announce.
A winner, sorry.
So on our last show, we had Susan Maher on, and she joined us to talk about her new book, The Right Time. And the winner of a signed copy of that is Jamie. So thank you very much, Jamie, for leaving a comment or two. Awesome. And I will get Susan your email address, and she will reach out to you so you guys can arrange delivery of the book.
Nice. That's
awesome. All I got.
Wow, that was really short housekeeping.
Yeah,
nice and easy.
Oh, come on now. Jamie has never won anything.
Oh, that's fantastic then. All right.
Yeah. So anyway, we normally start off, as you guys who follow the show know, we normally start off talking about what the book is about, like a general quick summary. And we thought maybe, Fletcher, you'd like to do that.
Okay, so
we're going to try and do spoiler-free if possible.
Yeah. It just came out. It's not even available for everybody everywhere. I mean, it could be if you want to buy from Ilva, which is awesome, and you should if you can. But it's not available in all venues yet, so we really should try and keep it as spoiler-free as possible.
Okay. Well, and not only that, but there are actually 2 different descriptions of the book depending on whether or not you have read The Kaffinan, which was the first book in the series.
I'm sorry, can I correct you for just a second? It's the Kaffinan. It's the Kaffinan.
Just Kaffinan, thanks.
All right.
It's like saying, it's Adidas, really? We all know it by Adidas.
Okay, so if you have read the first book in the series by whatever name you wish to call it, then without a front, the producer's challenge dumps you into the world of Alsea immediately after the first book left off. So it's picking the story right up, and it is following Lancer Tall as she works herself into a frazzle trying to put her world back together after the battle of the previous book, which has made a lot of changes to the world, and there are also new technologies to be introduced, so really everything is different. And she has pretty much given up on having any kind of a personal life and is just devoting herself to taking care of Alsea. And the process of that ends up putting her into having an unexpected personal life, which takes up a pretty significant part of the story. And this turns into the epic romance that I know a lot of readers love to see. So whereas the Kaffinan, or Kaffinan, however you like it, was really more pure science fiction. It's totally world building and all about politics and intrigue and decisions. This one, at its heart, is really a romance, and then I mean it's an epic romance because it's about 2 people who truly can't be without each other and whose romance will end up honestly changing the course of the history of the world. So that's if you have read the first book version. Okay, and if you haven't read the first book and you're just jumping into this and you didn't read the first book because you don't like science fiction, then if you like romance, this is the book to read, because this book is really, at its heart, a romance, and it's about a world leader who has more responsibilities than anyone should have to have, who has given up having any kind of a personal life, and who meets someone who is just as stubborn as she is, just as determined as she is, and they detest each other at first sight and then battle for a while and finally end up figuring out that they are better together than apart and change the course of history.
And that too.
And that too, yeah. The epic part.
So I just want to throw this right out because it was something that Andy and I talked about at length during her reading of this book.
Oh, without okay.
Andy, are you ready? Should we jump in?
Go ahead, Lane.
Okay.
Out there.
So Andy and I both have kind of I'm not totally burned out on romance books, but mostly. So very close. So for me, well, and for both of us, we loved the first book, the Caphanon.
Caphanon.
We loved it. With the world building, the storytelling, the adventure, the action.
Action. Woo!
Yeah, all of that. The military tradition, the casts is fantastic.
Watch out! I don't want to go into that ceremony thing.
Yeah. Because you totally. Yeah, I'm still a little mad at you for that, Andy. But, so
yeah, we're not going to forget that.
No, ever, never.
Ever.
And what did I say to you when I texted you?
About which?
About book 3 coming up.
Oh, about a. I'm not. I'm not thinking about book 3 yet. I don't even want to think about that.
I'll tell Fletcher.
Okay. So when I read this one, there's a big tone shift, right?
There is.
Mm-hmm. And when I first read it, I wasn't really expecting that. I mean, I knew that there would be more romance in this and all that, but the main focus is their relationship, and there's other stuff going on. There's still some intrigue. There's still political stuff going on, which is great. But initially I was like, well, I don't like this one as much, but it's still so well done. I mean, the writing and the storytelling is still really good. And like I was telling Andy, the relationship development between Tall and Salomon, it's so good. I really love it. Not only the relationship development, but the character development, with her family. And you really, as a reader, family. I know they're great. Even that shithead is, but the thing is that you did such a good job with that, because even though he is a little shithead and you want to hate him, you do such a good job of giving us the insight into his personality and his development that we kind of feel bad for him. I mean, Andy might not, because she's hard and feels very little empathy for people, but I did. So I ended up really liking the second book too, more than I thought that I would by the time it ended. And then when it ended, I was just so raging mad at you that it blinded me to everything else. So, but Andy was having, yeah, I know. But Andy was having a lot of the same thing. Andy, go ahead.
Yeah, basically you said it all. I just thought that the pacing, I didn't expect a slow pacing that I got with the second book. And Sherry's right on the money. I mean, you have a great way of crafting words and sucking the reader in, even if they don't want to necessarily be sucked into that particular book. But you do. You are a very great storyteller. And I think that's why we all come back for more, quite frankly. But this pacing was a lot slower than I expected, and it took me a little longer to get to the part where I didn't notice the pacing so much anymore. So I think what happened was I either got real used to it, or it just started to pick up a little bit more. And it probably was the last quarter of the book, I think, was just maybe accelerated. And I don't want to say why, but I think your pacing got faster as the problem that the two main characters were having to deal with got stronger, let's put it that way. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah. Started to pick up, and I was like, "Oh yay!" So I kept I was like really, really fast, and I got to the end, and I went, "Fuck!" The squirrels and the blue jays, and I think I freaked everybody out in the neighborhood. But yeah, so there you go.
Okay, so what you're saying is that both of you went into this not really that much in the mood for romance, but it sucked you in anyway.
Mm. Yeah.
So I'm happy with that. I'm good with that.
It sucked though,
I enjoyed it through my second. I mean, I guess I would enjoy it more the second time, since the first time I really had to pay attention to a lot of different things. But but I love the. I told Andy that one of the things, it took me, it was reminiscent of Susan Maher, the stories that I love by her, like All That Matters. It reminded me of that. We get to take our time with Tal and Solomon and really get to see them as individuals, and then how they're navigating their relationship, the changing of their relationship. It was, I love that. I love that. If I'm going to read a romance, that's what I want to read. I don't want the, we met and, after a weekend of fucking, we're desperately in love. You know what I mean? I want
Unfortunately,
that.
yes.
Yeah, I want that, that build up. I do want to say real quick that we do have a bunch of viewers, so if you have any questions or comments, feel free, type them in. If you are watching someplace other than the Google event, you'll need to come here to type that in, and you should see up in the top right-hand corner, it'll say Q&A live. Just click on that, and it'll take you here. We do have one question.
Already? Wow,
We did, and she posted it like as soon as we started and said, and this she actually says, this is from Amy, I decided not to wait to ask my question. Fletcher, once the third book comes out, have you thought about selling the 3 books in a box set?
Wow, I actually haven't thought about that. That would be fun, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Yeah, that would be an awesome thing. Yeah.
That's a good question, Amy.
That is a good question. Okay, I'll write that down and talk to my publisher about that one. She'll love me for it.
And then Elena sent in a question because she wasn't sure if she would be awake enough to participate. So she says, I'm not sure if I'll be awake enough for the show tonight, so I thought I'll send you my question up front. Book 2 and 3 are coming out, but by December I expect to be in awful Alsea withdrawal. What is happening with book 4? Is it going to happen? Who is it going to center around? And what is the time frame for it? Release in January 2016?
Release in January. That was not one question. That was like 4. Okay, let's see. There is a novella coming out next year, and that will be a reworking of Velmar the Blade. So it will focus on a character that is introduced in the book we're talking about right now. And
will it be out in January 2016?
It will not, I'm sorry, Elena, it will not be out in January. It will be out sometime later than that. But anyway, yes, there will be a book next year taking place in Alsea, and I do have buzzing around in my fertile brain the ideas for probably the next 2 books in the series, so we're not going to be running out of Alsea anytime soon.
Excellent. Good. Now, I fell in love with Lanarel in this book. We talked about that. Will there be one focusing on her, or at least some short stories, something for us Team Lanarel women?
Lanarel is going to have, I think, a bigger storyline, because she's one of those characters that I created her for a purpose. I needed her to be a foil for Lancer Tal. Because Tal needed someone who could meet her in that level of power that she's at and be someone to bounce ideas off of, because Tal just can't be alone in that level. There has to be someone else for her to interact with, both in terms of the character and in terms of the structure of the story. Mm-hmm. So I invented Lanarel for that purpose, but then she took over, and she's like Athena, springing to life fully formed from the head of Zeus, and there she was, and she's just demanding more attention.
She deserves it. She really does. She is fantastic. I love her. When she pulled that Gallagher moment, in the debate, that was awesome.
I loved that chapter. That was my favorite. That didn't exist at first. And when I was working on the book, I was thinking, okay, something else has to take place in this whole debate over what to do with the Voloth. I'm missing a piece, and I thought, what is this piece I'm missing? And I came up with the idea of the debate, and it had to be Lanarel doing it. And then I was trying to figure out, okay, what could Lanarel say that would be the key that would change public opinion? And that popped into my head, and I don't even like Gallagher, but it wasn't based on that, but it did pop into my head, and I thought, that's the trick. She's not going to say anything. She's going to do something.
I really like the Voloth character that you have in there too. I thought you did a really good job of well, I mean, this isn't really an apt term, but humanizing them, making them into they're not monsters, and the way that revelation kind of comes out later on was pretty awesome also.
I never wanted the Voloth to be cartoon evil characters. They look like it in the first book because you don't know what they are, and in the first part of this book you find out exactly what they are, and so that gives them, as you say, more dimensions, and that is part of the fertile brew of plot lines that I'm currently buzzing around on for books 4 and 5. I think there's a story around them, definitely.
Like an interspecies, or not interspecies, I guess, but intergalactic romance?
Possibly that, and definitely some friction between that little community of Voloth and the rest of the Alseans, or a few. Yeah, and those two things will probably tie together, because just imagine how irate an Alsean would be to lose a mate to a Voloth.
That would, I can see some interesting correlations there, like a straight man losing his wife to a lesbian. It's an affront to their masculinity. So I mean, I can see the people. It's relatable, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to get back to your previous discussion about the pacing of this book. Okay, so you guys, well, Andy, I know, read the original online form of this book, and that was back in 2006, I think, is when I wrote that. So this has been a long time. And that online novel, I wasn't constrained by book format. I wrote until the story was done, and I wrote 272,000 words. So, you can't put that these days into a single novel unless you're Frank Herbert and you're writing Dune. The rest of us, we don't get that opportunity. So it had to be broken up somehow. And when the book is taken, when the 2 volumes are taken as one whole book, the pacing is completely different, because then you have a slow start building into a romance and then shifting into the action that carries you through to the end of the book. So it's just a steady rise throughout the course of the whole thing. When you divide the book into 2 volumes, that really shifts the pacing. So in the first volume, what you have is mostly the slow pacing in the setup, which is substantial. I mean, this, as Sherry said, this is a really leisurely exploration of characters and families and all the relationships, and that's what you're getting in the first book. And I had a really hard time with that when I was rewriting this, because I had, first of all, figure out how do I divide one book into 2, and second of all, how do I deal with the situation that one book is basically relationship building and romance, and the second book is basically action. I mean, I'm going to have 2 books here that are very, very different. So I introduced a new source of tension into the first book, and I rewrote almost the entire first third of it. So all of that, and Andy knows this, all of that with the Voloth and Lanaril and everything else, and the whole first part, that is all rewritten, and mostly all new. And there's more action there than there was in the original online novel. So that's what the pacing is about. And yes, it picks up toward the end of the book, and when you start the second volume in the set, it will keep going.
So we're back then. So the Warriors challenge, then we're back to the action, and that we're going to start resolving that intrigue that's going on, the mystery and all of that. Okay.
And you're going to find out just how big that intrigue is at the same time that Tal does. The part of the fun of this is that as the reader, you have these little glimpses into the intrigue in the first book, because you're seeing through the eyes of one of the conspirators, but you don't know who that person is or what exactly they're planning. You know something's going on, but not what it is. You're still ahead of Lancertal, because she's got no idea that anything's going on until she starts trying to track down the pieces of the puzzle that are making it into her lap. In the second volume, you do find out, along with Lancertal, how deep this conspiracy goes. But there are still pieces of the puzzle that all of us are missing, the readers are missing, and Lancertal is missing, and those pieces don't fall into place until quite late in the story.
So
I'm holding out in that mystery for a long time. You're going to have to work for it.
Because I had my guesses of who was involved, but okay, all right. So
I got to tell you, even though I complained and bitched and pissed and moaned, but did not whine, thank you.
Because whining is much different than complaining.
That's right.
It's the tone. It's the tone of voice that one uses.
I said, "Damn it, Fletcher!" I didn't go. But I would think from a writer's point of view and a publisher's point of view, where you left it off is perfect because it pushes people to go, "Holy shit, when's the next book coming out?" So you're going to look at the pre-orders. You're going to try to figure out, put it on the calendar.
Right.
Shit. So I mean, it was actually a brilliant place to leave it off. But
as a reader, it was bullshit. I'm just going to throw that right out there.
I understand totally, and really, I seriously agonize over where to break this whole story into 2 volumes.
I would have suggested maybe a few pages later.
Well, the thing is that where this break takes place is thematically perfect because the producer's challenge is the pastoral book. It's the book that takes place in the idyllic world of a rural farm. And the moment that book ends, and the moment you begin the second book, you're going to be in Blacksun, in the state capital, in the city, where all the politics and the intrigue and the action is. So it is perfectly, I mean, seriously, the perfect place to divide those 2 books. But
as long as you only have to wait one.
Yeah. Right, and that is why the books are coming out so close together, because we knew there would be angst and homicidal tendencies.
We do have another question.
Okay.
This is from Amanda and Emma. Hi Fletcher, how do you feel, or how do you find being a sci-fi writer within the lesbian fiction world, especially considering the commercial drive toward romance novels?
That's a good question. I would say that it's not an easy role to inhabit because romance is by far, and I mean by far, the biggest market in lesbian fiction, and I'm in a little niche of that. But I can't write anything else. I mean, I can write modern, and I'm planning on one actually for next year. But I write what I love, and what I love is to imagine a world that is not the one I live in. I love to imagine a world where politics are different, and yes, people are still jerks and assholes and have their agendas, but that they're actually planetary leaders who accept responsibility and work for the betterment of their world. Man, yes, a total fantasy. I want politics I can believe in. So yeah, that's what I write because I love to inhabit that world, and I know that there are readers out there who also love to inhabit those worlds. Mm-hmm. I wish there were more of them, and I think that there would be more of them if we could get past that prejudice that people have against science fiction, where they think it's just not their genre, and they don't realize that it can be if you find the right author.
I think that extends even further, not just sci-fi, but any non-romance or erotica-based lesbian fiction. I got into a conversation with a mystery thriller writer, Ann Apter, I think her last name is, and she writes a series about a private eye set in the I think I'm gonna mess this up. It's sometime between the 30s and the 50s. Sorry.
That would be the 40s.
It's in those decades. I just can't remember which one. But you know, she was talking to me about, you know, the need to spread the word and, you know, get information out about non-romance books. And I'm like, sister, you're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we do. That's what we try to do. Yes, we do have romance authors on, and we talk about romance books, but for the most part, that's not what we do anymore. You know, so. And sci-fi though has an additional stigma that mysteries and thrillers and horror books don't, because people, like you said, they have this automatic reaction, like, I don't want to read that shit. I don't want to read about space and
Yeah, robots and rockets and...
Yeah, but it's not. And one of the first things I said to you after I got done reading The Caphanon was that... was that, I normally I don't read sci-fi, but, this book was so great. It was about the people, and your response to me was, yes, that's what it's all about. It's all about the people.
That's what good science fiction is about. It's about themes that apply to anyone.
Yeah.
So, universal themes.
So we will continue to try and get the word out about, things other than romance books, because there are so many more. All the publishers and some of the self-published, although you got to be careful, and people can get pissed at me if they want to, but I am so fucking tired of reading books that have not been properly edited.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that. But so buyer beware. And unfortunately, you can't go by reviews posted on Amazon or any place else. So just, make sure that you can get your money back if the book is complete and utter shit, and which you can at Amazon. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. So go ahead.
Do we have any more questions?
We just got one pop up right now, actually.
Timing. Wow, excellent.
It was great. This is from Patty. Having read Without a Front as a fan fiction, I realized that the first book needed to create a backstory for the aliens, but was it difficult to perform surgery on Without a Front to remove Voyager, plot-wise or emotionally?
Oh, that's a really good question. Let me tell you, it was incredibly difficult. I know now from experience, because I have done both, that rewriting a book is much harder than writing a brand new book from scratch. The Cliffhanger was easier for me to do because I had in my mind a start and a finish, and I just roared through putting all the pieces together. But Without a Front, I already had a book. I already had all the pieces, and yeah, I had to do massive surgery on it. And my first attempt was not that great. I put the first book together, and I sent it out to the person I call my prime beta reader. And she's really good at what she does. And said, okay, here it is. Tell me what you think. Be honest. And she always is. That's why I love her, because she's very honest about it. And so I sat around and waited and chewed fingernails for a couple days, and then I got her email back, and she says, well, it doesn't really grab me. It just doesn't really flow. And I'm like, damn it. I knew that. I knew that was the case. But I was hoping that I was just being overly self-critical and that nobody else would notice, but she noticed. So I spent, I don't know, God, it was like 2 or 3 days just in the depths of despair, seriously thinking, okay, there is a huge thematic and logistical issue with this book, and I have no idea how to fix it. I just don't even know how to begin to put this together. And so I spent like 3 days just thinking, smoke coming out of my head. And it was actually my wife, Maria, who made a suggestion that maybe I could tie the two books together one way. And we have this thing where she doesn't beta read, she's more like a brainstormer for me. So she suggests things, and what usually happens is she'll say X, and I'll say, no, not really X, but Y. But I wouldn't have thought of Y if she hadn't said X first.
Mm-hmm.
So she came up with the idea that I took and ran with and turned it into what tied these two books together. And that's when I got the idea of dividing the whole book into individual parts. And that's why you have the part 1, the aftermath of war, and the part 2 being Sanctuary. And that really tells the reader that these are very different parts of the book. So you have that warning as a reader that there's going to be a thematic jump here. And that's why there's that thread of tension woven into the novel with the conspirators and what are they doing. And that helps tie it together. So yeah, it was really, really hard. And I'm actually looking forward to the next book because it won't be one that I have to do surgery on and wrench into shape. But it was a really great challenge for me.
And that's good. Challenge. You seem to be somebody who really enjoys a challenge.
I do, and it was and because it teaches me to be a better writer. I mean, it's part of writing for me because I'm a person who doesn't plan the whole plot out in advance. I let the characters tell me what's going on, and I let the story unfold as it will naturally. And part of that is that you have to be really good at weaving the pieces together and doing it so seamlessly that the reader doesn't understand that you didn't know what the hell you were doing in the first place, and that you were just tying the knots. And so having to do that in this situation, it was much, much harder, but it really honed my skills.
Since you wrote for a long time online, right?
Right.
How has your outlook on writing changed since signing with a publisher? Because I mean, I didn't really read your stuff before this. I mean, we read Past Imperfect, but then I didn't read anything else. I enjoyed it, but I just didn't read anything else. Do you find that you're more focused on writing now, or future projects than you were before, or is it different?
No, it is different. I am more focused, and I'm much more aware of the publishing community. Before, I was more like, a person writing in a cave, and I would put something out online every now and again and get some emails from readers who appreciated it, but that was it. I was really by myself. And now I'm part of a community, and I really, really like the people in that community, the readers and the writers and the publisher, and all of them. It's very rewarding to be part of this, and I really love that. It's given a whole new shine to my life. So I'm no longer a fanfic writer. I'm an author, and that really does feel different. And plus, I'm also I'm a lot more skilled because I've been both self-teaching and being helped with learning some of the things that are different about selling a book versus writing whatever the hell you feel like writing and posting online, no matter how long it is.
Before we go any further, I wanted to let everybody know that that Fletcher and her publisher are going to be giving away some books. So we had talked prior to starting the recording tonight. There will be 2 bundles of books. There'll be one that we'll give away live. So if you have questions and comments, submit them, because that's how you're going to get entered to win. At the end of the show, we will pick somebody randomly from all of the commenters, and you'll get a copy of the Producers Challenge and the Warriors Challenge. Which that's pretty fucking sweet. So and then we'll have another bundle for folks who weren't able to participate live and want to just leave a comment in the on the show post on cocktailhour.us. And then we'll need to have everybody post a comment prior to, I think, November 6th, on or before November 6th, I believe.
Correct, yes, because our next show is November 7th.
Oh, yay. That feels so far away.
But it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
I'm already shocked that it's October. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah,
I know. So while we wait to see if anything else comes in, Andy, did you want to say anything else?
I do. I think to keep this show spoiler free, I want to go in a little bit of another direction. Actually, I think I messaged Fletcher this one, and I think I might have texted you too, Jerry. But I just got done listening to another author's book being narrated, actually performed by Kate Mulgrew, and I thought, holy shit, how awesome would it be if, we could get Ilva, whoever, gets Kate Mulgrew to narrate this series. That would be freaking awesome.
I am so on board with that. I think that we should all start a writing campaign to Astrid and Ilva and say, hire Kate Mulgrew to narrate the series.
Right?
I've heard her. She's awesome. She does amazing voices, and
she does. I'm listening to the same book right now because Andy said this is so good. And I got tired of getting texts at all hours of the day and night. Are you listening to this yet? Have you gotten this book yet? She
harassed you into it, huh?
Yeah. So I got it. I got it for free at the library. So I figured, I got nothing to lose. But it's great. You're right. Her voices are just incredible.
She performed.
It's really good. Yeah.
She performed, and I think. Except for Edward Herman, who doesn't perform nearly as well as she does, I mean, she's just spectacular at it. I had no idea. I didn't have a clue that she had that kind of range. Not a clue.
Yeah, it's
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, she's pretty good. We do have another question.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Amy's trying to stack the deck here with another question.
You like Amy. She's all right.
Question, are you done writing and editing the Warriors Challenge, or are you still working on that part of the series? Yes, Fletcher, where are we with that?
Are you sure she wrote that, not you?
I swear it. I swear. You can, after a while, everybody can see the questions later. I had nothing to do with it.
So we're laughing because Sherry's been asking the same thing. So when are you going to be finished editing that? Okay, so I'm done editing the Warriors Challenge, at least, how should I say this? Okay, I've done the first edit. It's gone to my editor, who has sent it back to me, and now we're going through the second version of it. And I've gone through my second version of it. I have just one little piece left to do, which is I'm replacing some of the names in the story because some of them were a bit too English. I needed more foreign, more alien names, and the names are the one part that I really suck at. I've created some very good ones, and I've created some pretty bad ones, and so I asked for help with the naming. I had a friend give me a list to work from, so I've been going through and doing a bit of that, and that's all that I have left. So right now I'm just waiting for the last half to come back from my editor, and then it will go on to the next person in the editing chain. If you're listening to this and you're not watching it, Sherry is waving her hand madly right now.
I am. I think I just came up with a possible question for the giveaway for the commenters. Suggestions for alien character names.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. I would love to have a list to work from. Yes,
okay,
please.
Great.
Put your collective imaginations to work and give me some ideas.
There you go. All right. Now we got some more questions. Oh my God.
Yay!
Amy's got another question.
She is stacking the deck.
She said, I wrote it, I just happened to follow both of you on Facebook, and I saw Sherry say something recently, about the editing.
Yeah, she likes to rub it in.
No, I'm anxious. I got, we're closing on a house in a week. I got time right now. And then we do have a question from Cheryl. Hi, Cheryl.
Hey,
Good
Cheryl.
to see you again. Good afternoon. I'm looking forward to reading both books. I know I can't wait until the Warriors Challenge is published. Thanks for not spacing out the publishing dates.
You're welcome. We knew there would be even more hate if we did that. So I want to build reader loyalty and not reader,
Angst.
Angst, yes.
That's awesome. Okay. So if you've got more questions, keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Would you like to do best line ever?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
Okay, so yeah, I don't actually have a line. There wasn't a line that jumped out where I go, oh my God, best line ever! But I gotta say, I did the happy dance with the meeting that Tall had, and that little girl stood up and raised her hand and she had a that whole little scene was like, yes, yes! I'm just getting all excited. I'm dancing around. Anyway, instead of best line, it's like best scene ever. So I want to thank you for that. I really enjoyed that one. I thought that was really cute.
Yeah.
It was a great little twist to how, Tall was going to get that message out without Tall getting that message out. So that was nice. That's it, yeah.
Yeah, it was a very good scene. You can't help but cheer.
I know, right?
When that's going on. Yeah. I don't really have a best line either, but there were some things that I really enjoyed throughout, and one of those things is is some of the zingers and conversations between Tall and Micah. They have such an incredibly close relationship. They know each other so well that their play on words or their wordplay and I love their relationship. It's fatherly, but more.
Mm-hmm. It is. I've actually had threats from readers saying, "Don't you do anything to Colonel, to the Colonel.
My.
You can't let anything happen to him.
You seem to have a lot of issues with readers threatening you for one reason or another, right?
Which I consider a good sign. It means they are really emotionally invested in what I write, which is what I'm after. So this is
That's
good.
true. That's true.
No, I love the relationship, and I okay, I have to tell you this. I created that relationship with a very specific purpose in mind, and that is I wanted there to be an awesome male influence in lesbian fiction, because so often in lesbian fiction you see that the men in the stories are either two-dimensional or they're one-dimensional. They're abusive ex-boyfriends, or they're nasty fathers, or they're the required happy gay friend. But they're usually, not usually, they're often almost caricatures. And I wanted there to be a really contoured, three-dimensional male character in the story that you love. Yeah. That you think, I'd like him to be my father or my big brother or my protector or something.
You do that really well, though, with, since you said that, thinking about all of the male characters in the story, or in any of the either of the two books that are out now. You have a balance. You have bad women, you have bad men, but the men that are good, you're right. It mirrors real life. I mean, I think most of us aren't surrounded by nothing but lesbians. Mm-hmm. Every day, all day. The men.
That too.
Yeah. Oh Jesus. The men in your books are I mean, they're just like we would normally run into. They run the gamut. Even just looking at Salomon's family, mm-hmm. She's the only woman there, and she even talks about that, when she's talking with Tal about how close her relationship was with her mother. Mm-hmm. That they were the only two women, and they had to come together. Yeah, I like that. So the one of the other lines that I liked, I was telling Andy, is one that I made up.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm just going to insert myself in your book. I posted on Facebook. It was the Darzan Fosta. Alsean for bitch. But I get it would be better with an Australian accent. I think maybe we can get somebody to do that. We can get Lee Winter to do it for us.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
We know an Aussie or two. We could do that.
Yeah. Patty came back and said, Fletcher has never let us down when it comes to timing. And I immediately had a dirty, comment regarding your wife come in, but I shouldn't do that.
Come on now.
He's doing very well behaved out in the living room, staying out of it all.
Are we going to play the game?
We should play the game.
Yeah, we're running out of time.
We are running out of time already?
I know. No. We've got 12 minutes. We've got 12 minutes. So if you do have questions and comments, we'll need to wrap it up pretty soon so that we can pick
I have one thing I have to add.
Yes.
Okay. So I had a new beta reader on this book. I have my first straight female beta reader, and I was very curious to see what her impressions would be of this romance. Because I've never had a female beta reader before who wasn't able to see through the same eyes that we all see through, and so she's been very good for me. She uses kind of I guess what I would call it. Actually, I did call it in the acknowledgments a tough love style of beta read responses that gave me a few sleepless nights, but they were good. They really pushed me in different directions and helped a lot. And one of the things that she really pushed me on was description. She's like, I want to see this. Tell me what this looks like. And in the scene where Tal and Salomon go on their first date, she pointed out to me the fact that I had described Tal exactly, what she's wearing and how she looks and how she did her hair, everything. But Salomon didn't get the same treatment. And she wrote this memorable note in her comments saying, whoa, wait a minute, screech, hold on. Inquiring minds want to know, what does she look like? Is she, she's got to be making Tal drool. She's hot. Is there cleavage? What is she wearing? And she goes into all this detail. I'm thinking, wow.
None of my lesbian people said any of this.
Exactly. And she said one thing that was really memorable, and she said, "You are so good at dialogue. Stop listening to them and look at them and tell us what you see." And that was a really good thing for me to remember, because when I'm writing, I'm hearing them. I hear what they say. I mean, I'm really listening to what they're saying to each other, and that's what's going down. And that's why the dialogue comes out so naturally, because I had their voices in my head. But I haven't been as good at looking at them. And so that's one thing I really worked on in both of these volumes, the Warrior's Challenge and the Producer's Challenge, is looking at them as well, and looking at the surroundings and describing more of the scenery, more of the people. And so I don't know if Andy noticed that, because it's probably been a bazillion years, but yeah, that is one of the big changes.
Yep, I did. But I also noticed that we didn't have any ceremonies or...
Shut up!
That's all I'm saying, damn it. That's all I'm saying. But
okay, moving on.
What was that?
Moving along, past the ceremony.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anyway.
All right. But you two talk for a minute. I'm getting the list of people for the drawing put together.
All right, so I'll get the game started. Okay, so you know the game, right, Fletcher? Remember?
Wait, you better describe it for the viewers and listeners.
Of course, but you. Okay, so.
And I'm the one drinking.
What? Those of you tuning in, we're going to play the game. And the game is, who would you fuck? Yes, you have one night only, free pass of all the character. Well, it's kind of tough because, they haven't read the second book yet. But of us sitting here on the show, who is your free pass? Who is your go-to for the evening? Fletcher.
I can't believe I forgot you were going to ask this question. Usually I think about it beforehand, so now I'm going to have to actually be spontaneous about it. And it's really hard for me to decide, because I created a bunch of really awesome awesome women in the story, and I would be happy to take any of them for for different reasons. I mean, they all have something to share and something to offer.
That's true.
I think Tal would have a focus that would be unbelievable to experience in bed. She would be, wow, that would blow you out of the water and you'd be ruined forever.
Forever, absolutely. Yeah.
But Salomon would have, I think, a warmth that Tal wouldn't with anybody else. With Salomon, that is. Salomon is just, she's really prickly on the outside, but very gushy on the inside. Mm-hmm. And I think it would be marvelous to experience that. But then I also have a huge soft spot for Lana Rill. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm going to fight Sherry for her.
Yep.
So that's your
I can't decide between the three of them, and I could even bring up Belmar if I wanted to. I'm going to say that for the next volume.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about her. Yeah.
You won't next time.
No, I'm sure I won't. Andy, do you want to go?
I can't remember the character's name, but the new pilot for Tal.
You were always such a dark horse. Thornlin.
Because I don't want any of your sloppy seconds, either of you.
Oh, shish. Lead pilot Thornlin. That's her name.
I was going to pick. Or no, I picked Tal last time, and she's still a little tired. So I'm gonna. So I'm picking Lanaro now. Although I do want to say that that I think that now. Here's the thing. If you pick Salomon, then if you were her Tyree, then I think I would pick her. I mean, if I were her Tyree, I would pick her because she's not been able to really cut loose before.
Nope, she hasn't. Poor thing.
So, I'm just saying.
But that first time is going to be like, wow. And guess what? You're going to see that in the next book.
Well, I'm waiting. That's all I have to say. So when is the expected publication date for that book? I mean, the official, when is it supposed to be rolling out?
The last week of November. I think it's November 25th.
Okay.
Right after Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Isn't it?
Sounds right.
Somewhere in there. She lives in Portugal. They don't have Thanksgiving.
I'm not sure.
Actually.
All right. So we have 5 minutes left.
Just before Thanksgiving.
It is?
Yeah, fourth Thursday is Thanksgiving. So that's the 26th.
Ooh, wow. So if we could get out before Thanksgiving, people would have the whole long weekend to read it. That would be
know, right?
nice, wouldn't it? Ooh.
Oh, Cheryl just came in and said, I saw a Facebook conversation about you editing very hot sex scenes, and your wife chimed in. Were you talking about the second book?
I was talking about the second book, yep. Or I should say the second volume. So Warrior's Challenge is where all the hot sex is.
Now, when we talk about hot sex, I mean, now we're thinking about, I imagine the tree and the sign.
We're going to go overtime, aren't we?
Flames. So are we looking at flames? You know,
like the Mile High Club?
No, flames,
No,
like fire and hot.
There will be some. How can I put this? There will be some glowing. Perhaps not actual flames, definitely glowing.
Glowing.
There will be something otherworldly.
So not an afterglow, but actual. Yeah.
An actual during glow.
All right. Okay. Let's see. Patty says, "Does it matter who you pick, since everyone would be part of a mental orgy?"
I would be all about an orgy. That would be good.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I'm surprised you just didn't say that that's what you're going to do. I mean, you know.
Okay, next time I'm going to say that.
Okay.
Of course, next time I have Belmar as an option, so I don't know. She's, wow.
All right. Well, we had. I'm gonna go in my nerdy bucket o' dice.
What was the doll that just hit the deck there? Are you going to show us what that is?
It's Gabrielle.
I didn't see that when I was there. She would have snuck in my bag on the way home.
Hold on, I'm putting the camera on me. Hold on. And
that's awesome.
yeah. So I got these from Carrie Hunter, and her wife sent them to me a long time ago. They used to be on my desk, but then when I started working from home, and then I also have my Katniss.
Oh, your
Katniss Everdeen doll.
Oh, you're so funny.
Which is why we had to move into a bigger house. I need more space for all my toys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, hold on. I'm gonna roll it.
Are you rolling the zombie dice? What are you doing?
No, I gotta find it. Just hold on a minute.
I'm thinking we should book Fletcher for another show.
Amy wins.
Hey!
Woohoo!
Congratulations.
Stack the damn deck.
Okay, so I guess we could, if Amy hasn't already read Producer's Challenge, then we can get her that one right away, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. I can get it to her tonight.
Excellent. Excellent. Amy, shoot me your email address. Not here, but never mind. I have your email address. I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Well, Amy's won stuff before, so. All right. Well, I got nothing else.
Yeah.
Actually, wait. I back up. Did Sherry tell us who her choice was? She made comments on our choices.
Oh no,
it's her choice.
It's Lanril. I'm picking Lanril this time.
Yeah.
Oh, again. Okay.
Fight over. Yeah.
No, I picked Tal. I picked Tal last time.
That's right. You did. Okay. So all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are a couple of folks that you're going to have to fight for Lanaril.
I don't care.
One of them is my wife.
I don't care. I'm a Marine.
I don't care. I'm a Marine. I'll take them bitches out. I do have one announcement before we call ass.
All right.
Just so that our faithful listeners and watchers know, our next show is November 7th, and we're going to have on with us Blaine Cooper.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to that. We're going to be reviewing a book. We might be changing horses in midstream on that one. But, yeah, so...
It's not going to be one of Blaine's books. She's going to join us like Colette does occasionally as just a special guest host, and we're going to talk about somebody else's book.
Yeah. Those are actually really fun. Yeah.
Yes. They are fun. Fletcher, if you're interested sometime, we can, but you don't, you're too busy writing to do any reading.
We need her right.
It is hard to read when I'm writing, but if you give me something short and easy, yeah, it'd be fun.
Hey!
And something fast-paced.
That's better than short and easy, because Andy's not real tall, and well.
All right, well, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Sherry, for being you, because you're awesome.
Oh, I forgot to take the camera off of myself. Sorry, everybody's been staring at me instead of
my
videos.
Thank you, Fletcher, for being on and writing some incredible stories over the years. And you just get better every day. It's just awesome.
Wow, thank you for that.
Yep, thank you for being on. Look forward to having you again. And thank you all for tuning in. Tell your damn friends and go out and buy a book.
Buy lots of books.
Lots of books. All of Fletcher's. Oh, wait.
What? There's a book that came out yesterday that I'm in.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So if you're go over to Ilva's website,
right. Yes.
and buy all of Fletcher's books, and then also buy Tales of the Grimoire, because I got 5 stories in there, and they're I think they're creepy and
I can speak from experience. Having read some of Sherry's work, it's fucking creepy.
Yay!
They're kind of creepy. So yay! So go buy books. Patty, you were very welcome. Patty thanked us. You're very welcome. And now I'm going to click the button, so everybody say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.